Have you ever felt like your mind is just running on some seriously outdated software? Well, today, we're talking about an upgrade. We're rebooting with Stoicism, not as some dusty old philosophy, but as a practical, really powerful operating system for navigating the chaos of modern life. So, what's this upgrade all about? Let's dive in.
I mean, think about it. We are constantly getting bombarded with news, with notifications, with everyone else's opinions. It is so easy to feel like you're just reacting all day, instead of actually living your life with any kind of purpose. If you've been looking for a way to kind of steer your own ship through all that noise, then you are definitely in the right place. Okay, first things first, let's just blow up a huge misconception. When somebody says be stoic, we immediately picture someone with that classic stiff upper lip, right? Someone who just suppresses every feeling they have. But it turns out, that's not what philosophical Stoicism is about at all. The real goal isn't to get rid of your emotions, it's to learn how to work with them, to understand them and guide them with reason. It's about mastery, not denial.
So it helps to think of Stoicism as this time-tested framework. It was founded way back in the 3rd century BCE by a guy named Zeno of Citium, and it was built from the ground up for one thing: resilience. This isn't about, abstract hypotheticals. It's a concrete guide for dealing with the very real stress we all face every single day.
So how do we actually install this new OS for our minds? Well, it all starts with one just brilliantly simple rule from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. Seriously, this is the master key. Once you get this, everything else just clicks into place. It's called the dichotomy of control. And yeah, I know, it sounds a little fancy, but it boils down to a simple, incredibly powerful truth. Some things are up to us, and some things just aren't. And learning to see the difference, well, that is the single most fundamental skill for achieving what the Stoics called tranquility, which is really just a deep, genuine inner peace.
And this right here breaks down exactly what Epictetus meant. This is the whole game. On the left, you've got what's in your power, your opinions, your goals, your desires, basically your entire inner world. And on the right, what's not in your power? Your body, your property, your reputation, what other people decide to do. The whole philosophy hangs on this. All of our mental and emotional energy should be focused exclusively on that first column.
And this quote from Epictetus just nails it. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of things. I mean, just think about that for a second. A traffic jam isn't inherently stressful. A negative comment online isn't inherently hurtful. It's our judgment, the story we tell ourselves about these things, that causes all the suffering. The event is neutral, our interpretation is what gives it all its power. Okay, so we've got this core principle, but how does that actually become a practical toolkit? How do we use this idea to handle powerful emotions like, say, anger, when they show up in the real world? Well, the Roman Stoic Seneca had some pretty strong words about anger. He called it a brief madness, and it's a great description because it's true. It completely hijacks our ability to think clearly. The Stoics argued that anger almost always explodes from a faulty judgment, from believing we've been wronged by something that was never actually in our control to begin with. So when someone cuts you off in traffic or says something that pushes your buttons, the Stoic response isn't to just lash out. It's a clear 3-step process. Number 1, pause. Just create a little bit of space between the trigger and your reaction. 2, examine your judgment. Ask yourself, is this really worth my peace? Is what happened actually in my control? And then 3, choose a response that's rooted in reason and your own values, not in raw, impulsive emotion. And this same logic completely flips our whole modern idea of success and failure on its head. We're taught from a young age that success is all about the outcome, getting the promotion, winning the game. But a Stoic would say you've already succeeded if you just gave your best effort and acted with good character, no matter what the result was. Why? Simple. Because your actions are the only part of that whole equation you ever really controlled. This quote is really the ultimate mantra for all of this. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. It's all about pouring your energy into the quality of your effort, your intentions, your character, and everything else that happens, you learn to accept it with grace because it was never really up to you in the first place. Now, what's so cool about all this is that these aren't just ancient ideas we have to take on faith. For those of you who like a little data, modern science is actually coming around and proving just how effective this ancient operating system really is. For example, just think about cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It's often called the gold standard of modern psychotherapy for things like anxiety and depression. And when you look at its core principles, it's almost pure stoicism. The idea that our thoughts, not external events, create our feelings. and that we can change how we feel by changing how we think. That's Stoicism 101.
You can see this amazing lineage right here. From Zeno in ancient Greece to Seneca and the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, these ideas kind of went dormant for a while and then, boom, re-emerged almost 2,000 years later as the foundation for one of our most effective modern therapies. It's an idea that just won't die. And the research is getting even better. A very recent study finally developed a way to accurately measure actual philosophical stoicism in people. And what did they find? Well, first, it confirmed that the philosophy is totally different from that stiff upper lip idea we talked about. And even more importantly, it found a direct positive link between practicing stoicism and having greater well-being. And the data from that study is just incredibly clear. Take a look at this. People who practice philosophical stoicism, working with their emotions and focusing on what they control, they report much higher levels of well-being. Meanwhile, that other stoicism, just suppressing emotion, is actually linked to poorer outcomes. The science is backing up the ancient wisdom.
All right, so theory is great, and the data is convincing, but Stoicism has always been a philosophy of action. So let's finish up with how you can start applying this operating system to your own life, like right now.
It all comes back to this one simple but life-changing question. In any situation that starts to cause you stress, a delayed flight, a negative comment, a crushing deadline, train yourself to just pause for a second and ask, is this truly within my power or not? Here is a direct exercise straight from Epictetus. The next time you face something unpleasant, run this quick diagnostic. Step 1, just face the situation. 2, ask yourself, does this concern things in my power or not? And 3, if the answer is no, practice being able to genuinely say to yourself, it is nothing to me. So I'll leave you with this. Just imagine for a moment, all the energy you spend worrying about things you can't change, getting angry about things you can't influence, and regretting things you can't undo. What would your life actually look like? What could you accomplish if all of that energy was redirected only toward the things that you truly actually control?